president has the power to appoint men and women to work with him or her in running the government and carrying out the laws of the nation. These people make the president's cabinet. The members of the president's cabinet advise the president on all important problems he or she must face. They also lead the departments for the executive branch of our government. Congress must give its approval to the men and women the president appoints before they can take office. Secretary of State. He or she supervises the State Department, which works with foreign countries, decides on travel to countries, and protects U.S. citizens abroad. The Secretary of Treasury. He or she supervises the Treasury Department, which has charge of the fiscal responsibilities of the government, the Secret Service, and the collection of taxes. The Secretary of Defense. He or she leads the Defense Department, which sees that the nation is protected against its enemies and works closely with all the branches of armed forces. The Attorney General. This person is the President's main legal advisor in matters pertaining to the country. He or she sees that the laws are enforced and that the people receive justice. This person may appoint special investigation teams. He or she runs the Justice Department. The Secretary of Interior. This person leads the Department of the Interior, which protects and improves the natural resources of the nation's national parks and forests.
Secretary of Agriculture. She leads the Department of Agriculture, which focuses on the safety and regulation of food production and works with farmers throughout the country. Secretary of Health and Human Services. She leads the Department of Health and Human Services. Secretary of Labor. She supervises the Department of Labor, which assists and protects the working people of the nation. Secretary of Commerce. This secretary leads the Department of Commerce, which assists the business of the nation, sets trade policies, and enforces rules for moving material across the country and around the world. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. This secretary administers the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Secretary of Transport. She administers the Department of Transportation, which enforces the laws and safety regulations pertaining to railroads, buses, ships, and airplanes. Secretary of Energy. She leads the Department of Energy, which works on problems about energy and fuels such as coal, oil, gas, and atomic energy.
Secretary of State, you have John Kerry. Secretary of Treasury, you have Jacob Lew. Secretary of Defense, Ashton B. Carter. Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. Secretary of Interior, Sally Jewell. Secretary of Agriculture, Tom J. Bilsack. Secretary of Commerce, Penny Pritzker. Secretary of Labor, Thomas E. Perez. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Sylvia Matthews Burwell. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro. Secretary of Transportation, Anthony Fox. Secretary of Energy, Ernest Moniz. Secretary of Education, Arnie Duncan. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Robert McDonald. Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson.